You are a forensic investigator.
Certified fraud examiner investigator, yes.
Yo! What is the scariest thing you've seen?
Someone dying?
What are maybe, let's say, 2 or 3 key lessons that you've learned in your industry that you think we need to apply day to day?
You can't do it on your own.
Yeah.
Networking and engaging with people who are in the same industry,
Yeah.
especially seniors, people who have actually walked the path before you.
How did you start then getting clients? Like, where do you find clients who want those kind of services?
Surrounding yourself with people who have been there.
You spoke about investigation, and I believe part of the work that you do would be interrogation. Yeah? How do you know when someone is lying?
Your body language,
Yeah.
the speech, the pace of the speech. When you're lying, you start really speaking quite very fast.
Hello, Resonate community, and welcome to the biggest and the best sales and entrepreneurship podcast in the whole wide world. I miss you guys so much. Whew, let me tell you, it's never an episode until I say I'm excited about it, because I genuinely am. Today, we have an amazing woman who holds a very important title in a career I wouldn't have even ever thought of ever being in. You know, the careers you see on like CSI, you see like in American movies. We have her. She's a black woman and she's in our studios today. So I'm so excited. Welcome to Ramatsimela C.Mphahlele. Mphahlele. Oh, did I say that like sideways?
Ramatsimela Mphahlele, yes.
Ramatsimela. Can I call you Ramsey?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh, Ramsey, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you for having me.
I am so excited to talk to you because when I was looking through your profile, I was like, excuse me, what?
Yeah.
You hold such an important and such a fascinating career that I really want to talk about today, and most importantly, extrapolate some of the lessons that you learn in your career to bring them into sales and entrepreneurship and into building our business.
Yeah.
You are a forensic investigator.
Certified fraud examiner investigator, yes.
Yo! We normally start our podcast with a fire round of questions.
Okay.
So that we get to know you a little bit more, to know what are you like, what do you do, you know, just the person that's sitting across.
Sure.
And as a forensic investigator,
Yeah.
what do you eat for breakfast?
I
had to do that.
I'm just like any other person. What do I have for breakfast? I'll have Weet-Bix. It's on a lazy morning or I'm in a rush. Weet-Bix are like the quickest thing.
Oh, yeah?
On a day where it's just a slow morning, I'll have, your English breakfast,
Yeah.
your eggs, your bacon and stuff. But
Yeah.
today I actually had Weet-Bix because I was in a rush. I had to be here. I had
Okay.
to meet you.
Well, thank you so much for honoring this invite and gracing us with your presence. And I'm curious to know, this is a very interesting question. What is the scariest thing you've seen?
Phew. Someone dying.
Hectic.
Someone dying in my presence during an investigation.
Ooh.
It's more like an ambush. Yeah, that's the scariest thing I've actually experienced in
Yeah.
this industry. Yes.
How did you recover from that?
Therapy. But from a very young age, within this industry, how I got into it. Initially, I actually wanted to be a pathologist. So
Okay.
I've never really been a child or an adult that's really scared of blood.
Oh, I see.
It was not really as traumatic
As it would be to the average
to an
person.
average person. And for me, it's like, well, not to make it weird, but for me, it was just okay. It was also more interesting. For me, it was like, it's a case on a case.
Wow.
Yeah, see, for me, it was like, it's a case on top of another case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so interesting. How did you get in forensics?
How I got into forensics, as I mentioned, I wanted to be a pathologist, forensic pathologist, right? So I went to varsity, I was studying biomedicine, but due to life circumstances, I actually had to drop out because of finances. Found myself without going to school, no employment, and I actually met this gentleman. I was actually in church, you just never know when God
Oh,
actually
praise
comes.
Jesus.
Comes your way to really rescue you. And when I met this gentleman, we just started talking. For him, he was just seeing a young girl at church, so just interested, what are you studying and all of that. And I was telling him, but I was like, I'm a dropout and stuff. And he's like, oh, I'm studying forensics through UNISA. I'm like, through UNISA bana lady lab, what are you talking about? And then he started telling me about the commercial side of forensics, and He explained it in depth. He told me about the other institutions that actually offer it besides UNISA, such as Northwest University. Then I got interested. I'm like, how do I go about? It seems like I can actually venture into something without really having like your 30,000 rands or 50 in my pocket. I mean, UNISA, paying
Yes.
1.5 for just that model. And I actually started pesting this gentleman as to how do I really go about.
Yeah.
At that time, you start looking for a piece job. Best believe it or not, I started working at Mr. Price,
Oh, nice.
as a cashier there and saving up. Enrolled myself at Northwest University. From that job, I actually upskilled, found myself a call center job. I think then the salary actually does get better. I started getting serious with my studies. Then that's how I loved forensic investigations, the commercial side of it. From there, I really never looked back.
Sure.
So I'm still within forensics,
Yes.
just not the clinical side of it, but the financial side of it. And I'm loving it. I think God really just knew how to shift my life and put me in a place where I actually am contented.
Yeah, I love that so much because it's really just a testament that an idea was instilled in your mind and then it built a desire. And from that desire, you continuously kept moving until it landed on something that you now refer to as your purpose and how you serve God. I love that. I love when we have Jesus people on this podcast because we believe in the Lord.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I love
Greater
it.
is He that is in us than He
Come
that is
on,
in the
somebody.
world. Oh, dear.
I love that so much. So getting into forensics for you, your story is really, really beautiful. I'm curious to also know what are maybe, let's say, 2 or 3 key lessons that you've learned in your industry that you think we need to apply day to day?
Well, before I answer that, Michelle, I would ask as an entrepreneur or as an employee.
So let's say 3 for entrepreneurship and 3 for employee.
Well, within my industry as an entrepreneur, you can't do it on your own.
Yeah.
There is no you can try,
Yeah.
you can get to a certain extent, but you need people. So I'd say networking and engaging with people who are in the same industry, especially seniors, people who have actually walked the path before you. They are able to guide you for you not to, because in life when you do not engage with people, you do not really have to go through everything in life. When you have those people who can guide you, then it eliminates all those trips and falls or the turmoils that they can help you from, you see. So I would say networking, finding yourself around people who have been there before you. The second one, I would say patience.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, no, for everyone, it's all just about patience. The third one, the industry is constantly growing. Always keep yourself updated with the industry, upskilling yourself. The industry is forever changing, evolving. So always keep up with the industry. So that's the side of entrepreneurship. Okay. So well, I would say they actually do mirror each
together,
other.
absolutely.
They do mirror each other because one day you see yourself as an employee, but tomorrow you wake up, you're an entrepreneur, and here you're like, I'm not good with sales, I'm not good with anything. But here I am, I'm like, I can do this myself. Actually, I became busy to sub mangmang, but I'm like, actually, I can do it myself. So same with being an entrepreneur. Always surround yourself with people who have been there before. Sometimes it's people that, because it's not all the time where you'll find yourself in a room with people, big people who are in the board, but people within your peers as well who share the same vision as well. I can think, you know what, I see myself up to here in the next 3 years, and you surround yourself with friends or peers who have actually big dreams that can push you as well. But then also I'll still bring in patience. Be patient with yourself because you cannot grasp everything all at once. You need to bite the pie, and then eventually get there.
Patience is a big, and I think in this generation where we get to see people live certain lives on Instagram and just we see other people's lives and we think, I need to get there today. When you started your business, I mean, and I keep saying this all the time, the business that you do is not something that's very commonly heard of, particularly as a Black woman in South Africa. How did you start then getting clients? Like, where do you find clients who want those kind of services?
You see, it goes back to surrounding yourself with people who have been there for a very long time.
Yeah.
So how I started the business, I would say it has always been a dream. Remember, back then I wanted to be a pathologist, right?
Yeah.
And you look at the pathology in South Africa, only government. There's only a few who are private, but you don't know of them.
I see.
You see. But then I was like, I actually want to have a pathology company. And when I went into the commercial space, I'm like, what's stopping me from actually converting that to have a forensic company? Because right now, when you're looking at a forensic company, you're looking at your PwC, your KPMG. Those are the people who are actually doing investigations.
Yes.
I will not say we are competing with them, but we are swimming with the big sharks.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of, am I capable? It was during COVID. I had COVID. It was really bad.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, I'm not really going to die without opening this company, whether it will tell our clients or not, but I'm definitely opening this
We
company.
must register.
Yes.
And we must start running.
We must just start running. I remember I was in bed and there I was, CIPC. I mean, we all had the time and the internet at home. I'm like, let me just give it a try.
Yeah.
And that's how I actually opened the company. And you start bit by bit.
Yeah.
Remember, you start going to events, associating yourself with people in the same industry. When you go into these events, you're meeting people. You start building your network. You start building your email list as well.
Yeah.
So immediately when you just start with your business, you start advertising, you start sending emails. This is what I do. This is what I do. This is what I do. But most of the time, people struggle in getting clients, especially with people in our industry, in a say that I think it's a bit easy when you're selling a tangible product than when you're selling a professional service.
100%.
So a professional service, Michelle, it's a matter of when they say Rabatla investigations, especially as a small black business, they will not say, go to Butlokwa forensic investigations, we need forensic accountancy services. It's a matter of they need to trust you as Michelle first.
I see.
So branding is really important. So when they say I want forensic investigation services, they'll be like, oh, I know of Ramsey. She's good with enhanced due diligence. She's good with this and this. Ramsey, can you do this? They do not want to hear you saying, oh, but look, I can do it. They need to trust you first as the face, as the brand. Then tomorrow you are able to say, oh, actually, I have a team that can assist us at a larger scale when you want these services than just maybe looking at one investigation that's going, the lifespan of it is probably 2 weeks. Now, when we're saying we're looking at 30 days or 60 days, you need a bigger team.
I see.
So Rams now is able to say, no, I have the capacity.
Yes.
I have certified fraud examiners who are independent contractors. We can pull this off.
Yeah.
Then they can trust you as Botlokwa Forensic Investigations. So you need to build your personal brand.
Yeah.
People who have access to your work, they trust your work before they trust your company.
True. Shucks.
So that's how I actually get clients.
Yeah.
Ramsey, can you do this? Actually, I just need to do a lifestyle audit we have one employee that's doing this and this and this. We have a problem. We have employees who are going off sick, but then they don't come back with notes. Until we ask for a note after 2 weeks, then they start providing it.
Sure.
Why didn't they provide it when they came back from that sick leave? You get what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to take us through what a lifestyle audit is?
Phew.
Because I like some of the examples you mentioned, like there probably is a suspect that, a certain employee could be taking a bit of money from the business, et cetera. And I'm quite curious to know, what is it and what does it entail?
Well, a lifestyle audit is how it comes about. It depends on the incorporation or the company that one actually has. Do they have the lifestyle audit policy?
Oh, so it can't just like be randomly brought up.
You can.
Okay.
Well, you can, because there are some situations as an employer, it forces you to have to implement that or to deploy such. For example, we have the Resonate company.
Yes.
Right? You already know that you pay your staff 5,000 Rand each. Let's say you are selling your blueprint copies. You know how much they cost. You know, as to Gastoko say, in this box, I know this is how much profit I'm supposed to be making.
Yes.
The products are moving,
yes,
but the account is not saying that. You see.
Yeah.
And now we are looking at Matidiso that you have employed. She's buying Gucci bags. She's doing this. It starts with the sign. Remember when you're doing creepy things, you'll start hiding it, but eventually... I mean, dirty money is loud money.
Very loud.
It really forces you to go all out there. You know, it starts showing signs, and from there, you internally can start an investigation to say, you know what, there's a suspicion here.
Okay.
Now we need to start looking into Matidiso. Matidiso does not need to know that you're looking into them because you are their employer. You do not need their permission to investigate unless you have any suspicions.
Yes.
You have some sort of evidence to show, you know what, this is what I'm seeing. Here's some documents, it's showing this and this and this and that. Now you need a forensic investigator. How do you now tap into their accounts?
Without them even knowing.
Remember now, it's a internal inquiry. It's an internal investigation. Then you deploy an investigator to say, you know what, we need to deploy these kind of services. But then at that stage, it depends on the type of industry you're in. Now you need to introduce the lifestyle audit policy where every employee needs to sign onto it to say we agree. And at the end of the day, they can't really say, I do not want to be part and parcel of this.
Of course.
Yeah, because you're part of the organization at the end of the day. Then it gives them the leverage to do that. Then from there, Ramsey comes in as a forensic investigator. Okay, we have our subject. Our subject is Matidiso. We start looking into Matidiso. Matidiso will look at their bank accounts. We will look at what is it that they've applied for in the past year. We actually look at their net value before this incident actually happened, or even before they were employed with you. Because where you can get that they got inheritance money before they were even employed by you. Then you're able to say this is their net value. This money could be coming from that.
Yes. Or they have a rich man.
You get what I'm saying? Some it could be, they have a rich man.
Yeah.
Their lifestyle just changed. Yes, they're popping bottles wherever, but it's a matter of now Ramsey doing an investigation. And how we do that, we basically obtain sources. We examine all the sources for evidence. From there, we are able to actually identify the fraud or the crime that took place, if there is. Remember, you can assume that Matidiso is stealing money as much as you are saying money is missing, but my products are gone.
Yes.
But you are suspicious that it came Matidiso because they are wearing Gucci bags and shoes.
Of course.
But you can get that it's not actually Matidiso. Through the investigation, what we find, because we need to identify what? The crime that is committed, the actual or the potential loss that you actually experienced.
I see.
Through this. That's the loss, chelete how in your bank, but your products are also just missing. And then from there, we are able to identify the perpetrators or the parties involved within this incident.
I see.
Then we compile a report. That's the forensic findings. A report that can now be used in disciplinary hearings, in institutional proceedings such as civil case. Because should you find that or it's someone else that you actually didn't think of, then we now extend the lifestyle audit to that timber. That's an interior designer, because or some way we are able to identify that it's actually not Matidiso, it's this person. From there, you are able to now make a decision based on the findings that we are giving you, whether you're going to dismiss them, disciplinary hearing, or you even open a criminal case. It's absolutely up to you.
So how easy was it for you to start charging a price that makes you smile? Because I can imagine as a forensic, you guys are not charging 50 Rand.
It was not easy. And it still isn't easy to date.
Yeah.
So pricing is a big topic. As also knowing your value.
Yes.
But for people who are providing professional services, it becomes a bit easy because most of us are actually governed by professional bodies, you see. And within our space, which is financial crime, or I'll say the accountancy space, we have people such as Auditor General that actually put a certain standard based on your experience, based on your qualification. Then you are able to know as to which bracket can I charge at.
I love that. But don't the clients come to you and say, Ayo, Butloko, like, I know you guys are still new and I know I'm meant to pay like 5K for like this week, but I can't afford it. Don't they try to like finesse you to lower your price?
I think that negotiation gap will always be there.
Yeah.
I mean, I can easily just say I need to charge 1,350 per hour based on my experience and all of that. But the clients will say my budget is this.
Yes.
And we all know that the work is going to take 6 months.
Yes.
And when you're calculating, you saying I will not be able to afford that, we can negotiate here and there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, as Botlhokwa Forensic Investigations, we pride ourselves in the standard that we deliver our
Absolutely.
work. So as much as I can negotiate with the client, I also need to be stern and firm to say, you know what, as much as I quoted this, I cannot go below 1,200. So I've actually negotiated 50 Rand
Yes.
from that. But at the end of the day, it really wasn't easy. It still isn't easy because the job becomes bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And the type of client or the caliber of client also wants a certain standard of delivery.
Yeah.
When you're presenting this report, they will also feel comfortable and confident to say, based on these findings, this is how we are concluding this investigation. So it's not always a smiling moment where I'm like, I'm proud I charged 250 and the client just said yes. I think it's in almost everyone's nature to say, can't we negotiate?
Yes.
Nobody really wants to take out money here and there.
Yeah.
But for some people who actually want value, who want standard as to what is it that they'll be getting back out of these services that they require from us, then they know how much they have to pay.
Oh, that's so powerful. I love that a lot. You spoke about investigation, and I believe part of the work that you do as part of any investigation, not every, but would be interrogation. Yeah? How do you know when someone is lying?
Deception.
What does it look like?
Well, within our studies, we actually do study as to how you identify that. Then the nice thing is, I would say we are, what are these signs? What are these star signs? We're like a Gemini.
Okay.
To have two faces, you know. I can be interrogating you, but most investigations does not end up in interrogation, but it's a matter of interview. And
Yes.
in an interview, you're trying to get information out of a person. And you can sometimes tell when the person is lying, but you're not really about to say, I know you're lying, or I can see you lying. Well, I know this information, you lie. You just keep it moving.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, when now you're evaluating or reviewing this report or the statement, you know what to eliminate, you know what to highlight, to say, here, there was deception.
Yes.
But not only being biased, but based on the facts and the investigation at large, that you know the background, then you are actually able to say that this person was lying. I can literally be smiling with you and I'm like, oh gosh, she is lying to me. But still continue with the interview.
Yeah. So what cues would one have to be on the lookout for to like pick up that deception? Is it like a movement of an eye? Is it like body language? So what are those specific cues? Like, do they look left, right, up, down? What happens?
Well, body language. And also how for you as an investigator, for it to be easy when you're actually conducting an interview, to be able to spot and identify those things. We have certain standards, or to say recommendations. When you're conducting an interview in a specific room, you should not be having a lot of things in the room, such as books, such as a tree, such as a painting.
That's why in the movies it's like a block, basically.
So they cannot be distracted. When you are lying, I mean, it's in the human nature, but when you're lying, you can literally look at that painting and start doing this. Then you already know, what are they looking at? There's nothing in the room. What are you basically looking at? So those are the kind of things that give it out. Firstly, it would be your body language, the speech, the pace of the speech. When you're lying, you start really speaking quite very fast.
Is it?
Yeah, because you're nervous and you know that you are lying. A person that's really lying, they're not just as relaxed unless they've smoked something. You know?
Yeah.
So it's the pace of their speech, body language, and how they respond, or the reaction when you're asking certain questions. When it ticks them off, then you know you're on the right track.
And then the body language, how are they sitting or responding to you with their body?
It's basically about how they are sitting. And some who are not even as bothered, you might tell yourself that they are quite innocent, but that can actually mean that they've been doing this for a very long time.
I see. Would that then be like a medical intervention, as like somebody not being mentally stable?
That's why they would recommend psychiatric evaluation.
Sheesh.
And sometimes people who are really full of deception, they will, most of the time, they know so much of the law. They know so much of the law where during an investigation or an interview, they will start pinpointing things that maybe you didn't do, or checking if you did. Things such as, remember, when you are conducting an interview, you need to make sure that the door is not locked. You need to tell the person you're interviewing that the door is not locked. Can we have it closed? Because they can use that against you in court to say, I was held under duress, the door was locked. the door was closed. So these are kind of the things or rules that you need to speak out to the person you're interviewing that, okay, we're about to conduct an interview, so we're going to close the door for privacy, for no interruption. And then you need to accept and say, okay, I agree, it's okay, you can close the door.
I love when you say that they know the law. Like they know it very well. They know it very well. And when you say that, being like a Jesus girl, I'm reminded of in scripture, after Jesus fasts for 40 days and 40 nights, the devil comes to him and says, it is written.
It is written. Yeah. And then you know.
Yeah. And it's like, no, he's quoting scripture.
Quoting, just like this.
They know the law.
They know the law so much.
Hectic.
Yeah. Then they'll quote it on you. And then now you start doubting yourself as an interviewer. Now you're starting to shake. And then when you start feeling unease, you're not going to be confident in actually getting the information that you need to get out of them.
And that's part of their strategy the whole time, I assume.
Yeah. I mean, you see it in movies as well.
Oh.
So that is so... body language, pace, how they respond to questions, their reactions to the questions that you'll be asking. It's either they get too emotional or they get angry. Then you know you're on the right track.
Yeah.
Keep on it.
Shucks. What does eye contact communicate?
Well, just like I said, that when you're looking at the room, make sure that it's as clean as possible. Already when they start looking at a clean wall, what are they looking at? There's nothing.
The color of the paint.
Yeah, they're trying to divert from the questions, or they're thinking about it. If you really know the answer to it and you're quite innocent, you don't need to think about anything, Michelle.
Yeah.
You just give it straight.
So there wouldn't be any like movement of the eye and distraction. And then with the body language, is it more like slouching? Is it like sitting up straight? Is it like fidgeting? What does that look like?
The ones who are slouching, showing little to no interest, sometimes that it can be a sign of deception because they don't want to be there. They know what they did. Some who are really quite interested in giving you the eye contact could be innocent. But remember, you cannot judge based on body language. What we're trying to get here is the information coming out of your mouth. Yeah. Remember, we're trying to get facts.
Yes.
A fact cannot be Michelle yawning.
Yes.
It means true. What? There's deception there.
Yeah.
No. Michelle could be tired.
Sure, there's a lot of factors.
Yeah, so body language can give certain signs, but it does not. It's not a factual answer to what you're trying to get, because your report you're going to say what she was sludging, she was doing. Yes, those are important pointers as well as what the interviewee was doing during the interview. That's why there are actually cameras where we have to record to be able to review that interview as well. Yeah.
Sure, that's a very colorful career.
Interesting.
Very, very colorful, and all of this stuff is documented, obviously.
Yeah, chain of evidence, everything from the time a client basically invites you and say, I would like you to help me with this. We document from that go until to the very end. You cannot miss any chain of evidence anyway, at all.
Sure. That's so interesting. I'm actually just thinking about that. What is the biggest case that you would like to eventually work on in the future?
Where it involves a financial institution.
Ooh. Talking about financial institutions. I remember there was a buzz quite some time ago, a couple of years back, and there was these pyramid schemes, and that's such a big conversation. I'm so glad you brought that up because I wanted to talk to you about that. There was, I think it was like Triple M or something like that, and then there was more that came that scammed a lot of people, etc. How does somebody know when like a thing is coming up? How do they know that this is not gonna end well? What are the signs?
We often go by saying if it's too good to be true, then it is too good to be true. Michelle, you cannot come to me and tell me if you invested 1,000 rand in 2 weeks or in a week, it will be 10,000. How? Then we'll be picking money from trees. How will you be doing that? Firstly, the first thing that you should be asking this person, can you show me or can you explain to me how this actually works? How do I really give you 1,000 rands for me to get there?
Yeah.
Okay. And if a person cannot explain that, already you are seeing the signs. Yeah. Secondly, people who have been in that industry for a very long time, you can actually go to them and say, tell me about your journey. How did this work out? But also, remember, a person needs to also give you a forecast. Just like when you're taking up any insurance company,
Yes.
insurance policy, they will basically show you, or investment policy, they will show you on the forecast on how it will be doing, how it has done in the past. If they
Yes.
cannot show you those or cannot reason as to how I will be giving you 1,000 and in 2 weeks it will be 10,000 rands, why am I not putting in any work? If it's too good to be true, then it is too good to be true. Things such as forex, those things are just dreams. Those things are just dreams. Yes, there are people who are forex traders for banks as well, and it works out. But you are able to see the signs. I think people are just so naive to educate themselves as to, yes, I'm interested in this product. Let me study better about it. Let me go to a person that's furtherly experienced.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're looking at the things such as these, the person that's coming to sell you this product for you to join this pyramid scheme, firstly, it's a financial product. They need to be registered with the financial service providers. They need to have a registration number as well. Then should anything happen, you go and report them to that professional body or regulatory body that they're reporting to.
Yeah.
So they need to be able to substantiate and give you proper evidence and forecast on the incomes or the inflows or the cash flows of this business as to how it works. How does this product actually work?
Yeah.
We have had quite a lot. Besides Triple M, there's really quite a lot. Well, there's really, I do not want to name it, but there's really quite a lot.
Yeah.
But in a nutshell, not all pyramid schemes are illegal.
You know, when you said that earlier to me, I thought to myself, that is so interesting. What makes the difference between one being legalized and one not being legalized?
Is when they're just performing illegitimate business. Things that cannot even tangibly show you as to how it works.
Yeah, and how the money is moving
How
from one
it's
person
moving
to
from
the
one
other.
person to another. Because, Michelle, dealing with the pyramid schemes, it could be, I can actually start it. Pyramid scheme, remember, it's more like an intermediary. It's like stock fail. But then now I start by saying, okay, Michelle, give me 2,000 rands. In 2 weeks' time, it's going to come back as 4,000 rands.
Hey.
Right? Fine, sharp. You give me this 2,000 rands. I go and blow it. Kausani, I'm meeting 3 more people. I say, guys, if you give me 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, it's going to come back as 9,000, 9,000. Remember, now I need to pay Michelle. Get 2 weeks. Next week, yes. Deadline. I take that 2,000, that 4,000 rand, I give it to Michelle. Kisalaka profits, I've chowed. I go to other people. So I'm taking money that I've just recruited now to pay and it just moves on like that. But the ones at the beginning, they see it working. Then they go and recruit more people to bring in more money. But then unfortunately the unfortunate part is that at the end, when its lifespan comes, the ones who join last are the ones who feel more of the pinch and the pain because they end up not getting their money. But Baba Kadiling, they got their money and they're even recruiting more people. Yeah. And then you find yourself having to explain to your peers as to why haven't they gotten the money but you got the money. That's how people basically just vanish. There's really quite a lot of them, but it will be good for people not to be naive. People really need to educate themselves about a company, how it started, where it has gone, what are the success stories about it, what are they registered as well, because like I said, some of them are really not illegal. A business can come in as an intermediary or they are selling certain products, but they can use a structure of a pyramid scheme, but and for it to be a legitimate company. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So a pyramid scheme, remember, it's more about I am starting at a junior level. The more people I recruit, it moves me up the ranks. And then my people that I've recruited, they also need to recruit. And some of these companies, they will call them the gold and the platinum group.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
You know, it's the more people you recruit, the higher ranks. And I'm getting commission from all these new recruits.
Sure. Thank you for sharing that information with us, because I think a lot of people need to hear more and more. In closing, I want to know, what's the biggest hurdle that you faced in business and how did you overcome it?
The biggest hurdle, Michelle, especially making it in this business, our business is, or the industry is a lot of male-dominated industry. I will not say it's the actual work itself that is the hurdle, but the people around. we find ourselves maybe relying so much in that connections, getting to know people, referrals, and all of that. But there are some people where you look up to so much, or a potential client, and you're like, I almost have it. They just need to sign the deal. But as a woman, unfortunately, we really do face challenges such as male counterparts actually looking for sexual favors, any uncomfortable favors.
Yes.
In my experience since starting this business since 2021, even being an employee to my employer before starting my business, when you're trying to even move up the corporate ladder as well, you find yourself facing such. So the biggest hurdle for me, it's always been, and I think it's a journey that will constantly still be there, where you find yourself where you cannot move, you cannot sign that deal because now this person is looking for other favors before they actually give you that signature, or to give you that go ahead. So for me, the biggest hurdle, it's always just been that. It's really always just been that. But then you need to bring yourself back to yourself and remember why you started this. Live by ethics, integrity, to say, you know what, I'm choosing myself for the business. I've had moments where I would leave a dinner table because that was introduced on the table to say, this is the offer that I have for you. And you'd go back home crying and be like, is that what a person can actually reduce me to? But you need to remember why you started. Continue with your integrity, your ethics, and say, I am choosing myself because you know your worth. You know what is it that you're trying to get out of this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming and have a conversation with us. I was so excited because I'm so intrigued by the work that you do. So hopefully this is not the last time we have you on the podcast episode. So thank you so much, Ramatsimela Mphahlele. Did I say that right this time?
You did. You did.
Thank you so much, Resonate community. This has been so awesome. I really hope that you've learned as much as I have, because it's been, there are some careers you look out there, you're like, taking Tutamu TV. For those who don't know what that means, it's like, this is like TV stuff. Is this real? And just having a black woman in the room really take us through that as a career path is more than just inspiring, but it's really the kick that we need, that we can absolutely do anything we want. Black, whatever you are, what gender you are, you can do anything that you set your mind to and that you believe God has called you to. So thank you so much once again. We'll see you guys in our next episode. Goodbye.